Alright guys, welcome back to another episode, and today's video is a little bit different. I'm going to give you guys the rundown on this Starlink setup. I'm going to take you through the cost, pros and cons, the advantages and the major disadvantages that you guys should know if you're about to take the leap and purchase this Starlink. So enjoy, but don't forget to like, share, subscribe and enjoy this video. Now firstly, let's talk about I guess the practical use and implementation of Starlink. Now we've been traveling on the road full time for almost 2 years, right? And up until our purchase of this, connectivity through Australia, particularly regional areas, has been hard. So it's made it hard in my instance to to keep in contact with people, to look at potential work possibilities, and just to kill the days. There's nothing worse than being stuck inside on a rainy day in the middle of nowhere, or the wind's blowing its guts out, and you're literally sitting around twiddling your thumbs for an extended period. So that's why we decided to jump on board with the Starlink in the first place, and it's really been, I guess, a real eye-opener about the possibilities now available to us now that we've got the Starlink in use. But before that, I'll take you back. We were using a Selfie repeater. Now I'll put a photo of that there as the guys are going for a ski, but we were using a Selfie mobile repeater, and to be honest, my personal opinion is that the biggest waste of money you can possibly spend money on. It is, I find it absolutely useless. Unless you've got coverage already, all it does is improve that signal and offered us very little in terms of improvement when on the road and trying to I guess access 4G and internet services. So that's the first point I want to touch on. Now Starlink, the biggest thing people are going to be concerned about is money, and it's not the most expensive, sorry, it's not the most cheapest thing on the market, let's put it that way. So I've had this now, and the reason why I didn't want to do the review earlier is because I wanted to really test it out and make sure I was either happy or unhappy with it, and make sure that I guess I could provide you guys a review. Now we've had it for 6 months, so we've tested it all the way from the Dampier Peninsula up north of WA, and now to down here South WA. Now keep in mind, we purchased this when Starlink was a relatively new concept here in Australia, so they only guaranteed coverage for, I guess, the bottom half of Australia. In saying that though, we were able to get coverage all the way up at Cygnet Bay, which is Dampier Peninsula up north, and it still worked fine. I guess it was dropping out. It did cut out a little bit here and there, but they were open about that from the start, just to begin with, and letting us know that it wasn't guaranteed signal up north. So, but now the good news is that they've opened it up Australia wide, and they guarantee the signal across the country, which is good. But in terms of price, we purchased it for just under $1,000. So back then we paid full price for it, and it's $174 per month. I also must add, this is the RV version, so you can take it anywhere. You're not locked to a fixed address as well. Now the good thing for you guys, if you're on the fence about Starlink, they are doing half price until the 31st of December. So you've got a little over 2 weeks left. So if you're on the fence, get on this now, because it's going to save you close to $500 on what they cost right now, which is a good bonus and a good plus for you guys that are on the fence about it. Now, in terms of how it works, it uses satellites in the sky and base stations around the country to essentially pick up reception or internet signal no matter where you are. So literally, we've been in remote places through central WA. We've been in the middle of nowhere there, where there's been no bars of signal for hundreds of kilometers, and we've still been able to stay connected with the Starlink. Now the pros of that is, for us, is that we can look, as we are doing this full time and traveling for an extended period, we can stay on the road, look at work opportunities, look at working remotely to extend our travel, to put a bit of money in the bank, to upload videos like this regardless of where we are. And that was one of the key points, I guess, that where we didn't start our YouTube journey earlier, is because we were always out of signal, and so it was just a nightmare waiting for videos to upload, and it just took forever. So I got to say, 6 months of use, this thing is worth its money for us, but understandably it is a big expenditure and a big monthly cost. $174 a month It's not cheap. It's probably the most expensive internet out there, but you know, I guess it's that reliability and being connected regardless of where you are. You've got to weigh up whether you can justify that cost or not. Now the big disadvantage, I guess, to Starlink, or there's two that I'm going to run you through, but the first one is its use when you're in trees. Now I'm going to show you where we are now in a moment, but we're in a very tree area at the moment, so there's a lot of I guess obstructions from the satellite dish. So how it works, and I'll put a video over this, is essentially you've got an app on your phone. It's very easy to use, and you click visibility and the camera pops up on your Starlink app and allows you to scan the sky to find a suitable spot. Now these work, they need clear access to the sky, right? So when you've got trees, it blocks that signal and blocks I guess the dish's ability to contact the satellites, which in turn gives you the signal that you're after. So in a very tree-y area, if that's a word, they do have a disadvantage where they do cut out and they do not work for a period of time. Now in saying that, as I said, we're in this area right now where there's a lot of obstructions in the sky. But for watching YouTube, for streaming Netflix, for doing all those sort of things, scrolling on Instagram and Facebook, you don't notice it too much. It's cutting out every couple of minutes for a short window of time, maybe 15 seconds, 20 seconds or thereabouts. But you don't really notice it. But if I'm in there trying to browse the internet, moving from page to page, that's where it can become a little bit tricky when you're in an area that's got obstructions like trees and whatnot. But that is one of the down plays to it. But in saying that, as you can probably see here, they do get you a huge cord. So this cord is super long. So you can run it from your van and essentially run it at least 15 meters in any direction, so that if you are camping up under an area with trees, you can run your satellite dish a bit further out so that you can get a clear view of the sky. So that's probably, I guess, in their favor, something that they've done. But it'll be interesting to see whether they, or whether there is even the opportunity or potential for these to handle obstructions a little bit better, because as I said, trees and obstructions in the sky certainly do impact their use. So if I look back, we didn't have it on the East Coast, but if we look back when we're camping along the Murray River and those sort of things where there's just trees absolutely everywhere, I'm not sure whether or not this is going to be as effective as your Telstra Nighthawk as an example, which we used prior to this as well, because some of those spots do have pretty good connectivity in especially on those East Coast camping areas. But WA in particular, Northern Territory, we found you'd go days without reception, where this has been good. But if you put this, if you're in the middle of the country and you're on the beach somewhere, this thing is ultimate. So I guess weigh up the sort of camping you're going to be doing and the traveling and the spots that you want to see, because if you're looking at staying on riverbanks and that sort of stuff, where there's a lot of trees, take that into account whether or not it's going to be right for you. The second problem, or the second con I have to the Starlink, is that it is, for traveling anyway, it works off 240 volt connection. So that means it doesn't work on 12 volts, so you need some sort of inverter to run the Starlink itself. Now it's very easy to set up, but you still got the 240 volt that you need to have the connection for. So if you don't have an inverter in your van, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble. Now to begin with, I used initially a 150 watt Dometic little cylinder inverter. I'll put a photo of it here for you guys as well. But that did the job, but it definitely, I blew fuses with it. So it says on the output, on the labels and the specifications, that the wattage will be about 150 watts. I think it must be over that, because as I said, I was blowing fuses in my not one but two inverters of different brands. So I think you're gonna need a little bit more than 150 watts to power this. So I went and installed an 800 watt inverter into my van, DIY job, and it hasn't had a problem since. So so keep that in mind as well. In terms of power, they do suck a little bit of power, not too much, but they suck about 3 amps is what I've found per hour, 3 amp hours. So keep that in mind as well. If you park somewhere shady, or you've only got a small battery system or whatnot, keep in mind that they do use power, so you need to make sure you've got the adequate power system to enable that you're powering your Starlink, but also you're not losing power to the rest of your van, your fridges and that sort of thing as well. So keep that in mind in relation to the power, because they do suck, as I said, that 3 amp hours per hour, roughly for us anyway. Setting it up is very easy. You literally unpack it from the box, and it's pretty much open the app, sign in, create an account, and you'll see this dish move in relation to where the satellites are. So it's very easy. As someone who's not very technical like me, who doesn't understand the intricacies of something like this, I couldn't tell you exactly how it works. But I know that it's very easy for someone like me who doesn't really get technology on this level. It's very easy to set up, so don't feel like you need to go and wire anything or have any sort of understanding of satellites or anything like that to get it started. It really is usable for the average day person. Alright, now let's talk about durability. Now you can probably see my Starlink, we've got cracks, we've got cuts, we've got abrasions. It took a bit of getting used to that I had a Starlink to begin with, so it comes on this tripod mount. Now this comes off easily, which I can show you guys, and so that comes with it, but you get this base plate in your standard models as well. So you put that on the ground, and it's very steady. But in caravan parks, especially ones where you're jammed in tight, you can have a few obstructions, not from trees but from caravans and vehicles and that. So I was putting it on top of my car at one point, and well, didn't I accidentally drive off with it still on the roof. So it hit the ground, which was, I was pretty devastated because I thought there's no way it could still work. And the next day, this is probably only after having it for a week, I said I wouldn't put it on the car anymore, so I put it in front of my car, drove off, and I heard this crunch, and I'd run over it. So, and it still works. It's got cracks, it's got, as I said, abrasions and cuts in it, but it still works fine. So in terms of being durable, they're very durable. You're not going to break it if it falls over or blows over and the wind is on the ground, and these mounts here are pretty strong. I will look at eventually, as I said, this comes straight off like that. You can buy other mounts on Starlink website where you can mount these, and it's not too hard, it wouldn't be too hard to create something yourself. So on our next van, we'll certainly be looking at a more suitable option to mount these somewhere so that it doesn't crack. Now, internet speeds, mate, let me tell you, I've had, lived in Brisbane, Gold Coast, Townsville, many places, and I've never had internet speed as fast as this. Most of the time, without obstructions, you get up to about 100 upload, 100 download, and very little latency, I should say. So speed-wise, there's not anything you can't do in terms of anything on the internet, whether it's gaming, whether it's YouTube videos, whether it's watching Netflix and YouTube and all that. The internet power it's got in here will give you more than enough to do whatever it is you want to do on the internet. As I said, for those traveling and you're wanting to do this long term, this allows us one day when we need the money to sit and work remotely, to do some consultancy stuff in the real estate space, which I was before. It really does open up a lot of avenues on the road, and I think not only for travellers but for people in general watching this or thinking about it, I think it opens up a whole new world of opportunity for particularly remote and regional areas that are amazing. Like, we've seen so much amazing stuff around the country, and there's no one there, obviously, because of the connectivity with internet and that. There's no jobs and whatnot. So if you're able to work remotely anywhere in the country, if you're looking to settle down in regional Australia somewhere, you can have your Starlink and still be connected. And that even, we love the idea of station work and all that at some point. So being able to have this allows me to go out and do some work, the missus to be able to have the luxuries of a home life without being stuck in the middle of nowhere, without being connected to her family, and being able to watch videos or do whatever it is that you want to do. Now lastly, how we set it up. So as I said, we installed the inverter into our van, and right now there's no I guess conduits that I've been able to find on the marketplace where you can install in your van to have that I guess easy application in terms of just plug and play inside your caravan. So it's very easy for us. What we do, we have our inverter, we put this in the van in a safe spot, and we simply run this cord through the window and then shut the window on top of it. So it's not, I guess it's not the most visually appealing setup in terms of you've got a cord hanging out your window, but I'm sure van manufacturers are probably already onto it, given that you know, it's going to be super popular you know, in the coming years, as to having that ability to have it a little bit more easily connectable into your van. Well, there you go, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this review on Starlink. Mate, in closing, I wouldn't be caught dead without one of these now. If you're on the fence, I would definitely secure it while it's half price. As I said, I paid full whack for it, but still, even at that price, I don't regret it at all. We've downgraded our Telstra phone plans down to the lowest possible versions, with like minimal data and just phone calls and text, knowing that we can have the connectivity everywhere. So we were paying combined $200 a month on our phone plans between me and Amber. This is $174, and I think we're on $20 each phone. So we're at $20 each phone plan. So we're at about 220 bucks opposed to 180, but for an extra 40 bucks a month, you know, to have this connectivity, it's in my opinion, it's pretty bloody worth it. And as I said, you know, even in these areas where there's obstructions, it still works really well. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy it. Take care, and don't forget to subscribe and follow our socials, Real Australian Dream, for more. Take care, guys.